It's been a while since I looked through the approvals, and from experience, that's usually when they start piling up. One protocol here, another swap there, maybe a bridge a few months back. None of it really stands out at the time. Then one day it hits me that I can't even remember half the places this wallet has interacted with, and that's exactly where the risk comes from. I've seen more and more situations where someone's tokens disappeared months after using a project they had completely forgotten about. The wallet itself wasn't compromised, nothing happened to the recovery phrase, it all came down to an approval that was never removed. That project later turned out to be malicious, or the contract got exploited, and because a permission was still active, the tokens were transferred without that person ever expecting it. So that's what this video is about. The method I'm using works with any wallet connected to EVM networks or TRON. The whole process stays almost identical regardless of which wallet to use. One thing I definitely recommend, watch the whole walkthrough from start to finish. There are a few small details that are easy to overlook, and those little things usually make the biggest difference. A few weeks ago, I actually found myself in a similar situation. I was getting ready to move some tokens between wallets, and before doing that, I started wondering how many old permissions were still attached to this address. Honestly, I had no clue anymore. There were too many protocols I'd connected to over time, and I wasn't about to trust my memory. So I spent some time researching different ways to check everything properly. I compared a few services, asked AI to help narrow the options down, and landed on this platform. It scans the wallet, checks every active approval, points out contracts that deserve attention, and lets me revoke unnecessary permissions without having to sort through everything manually. I've already used it several times myself, and after testing it on different wallets, it became the tool I keep coming back to. At this point, I just make it part of my regular wallet maintenance. So I'll walk through the exact same steps I'm using here. The official link will be pinned below the video because fake crypto websites show up all the time, and I'd rather avoid opening the wrong one. Okay, first thing I'm doing is connecting the wallet I want to review. That's pretty much all there is to it. Alright, the results are in. Now I can see the complete list of permissions linked to this wallet. Some of them are marked as higher risk, and those are the ones I pay the closest attention to. It doesn't automatically mean they're malicious today, but if I don't even remember why they're still here, that's already enough for me to question whether they should stay. Technically, I could revoke each approval one at a time, but honestly, I can't even remember which platform some of these came from anymore. After enough DeFi activity, older approvals all start blending together. If a permission no longer has a purpose, I don't see any benefit in leaving it attached to the wallet, so I'm just removing all the approvals I don't need anymore. Everything finished in just a few seconds. Now there aren't any forgotten permissions left behind from protocols I stopped using a long time ago. That gives me a lot more confidence whenever I move tokens or connect this wallet somewhere else, because I'm no longer wondering whether some abandoned contract still has permissions I forgot about months ago. So that's everything I wanted to show. Hopefully the whole process makes a lot more sense now, because once it's done once, it's actually pretty straightforward. If any questions come up later, just leave them in the comments, so I'll go through them whenever I have time. Ever since I started checking approvals on a regular basis, I don't have that constant thought in the back of my mind that an old forgotten contract could still be sitting there with unnecessary access to my token balances. Finding a few approvals I didn't even remember signing was enough to convince me to make this part of my routine. The platform has worked consistently every time I've used it. The scans have been reliable, and being able to clear out outdated permissions in just a couple of minutes gives me a lot more confidence every time I use my wallets.